All right. Hey, y'all. We're live here. It's a bit of a weird day. I don't know. Tired. Not hungry. Just tired. A little annoyed. I went to a comic shop. First of all, check out the shirt my wife got me. I binge Parks and Rec about 2-3 weeks ago. And really totally dug it, as a matter of fact. I think as I'm getting older, I want my I want my sitcoms a little less edgy and just more kind of God, how would you put it? It's a kinder sitcom, and I actually kind of appreciated that. Kind of really appreciated that for that purpose, and it was really funny. So I went to this shop yesterday, right? I just went to one shop yesterday. Okay, I went to 2 shops yesterday, but Half Price Books doesn't count because I always go there. Went to one shop yesterday. Went around looking at different places, and I've been to most places. It's a really small store. Hey, Mr. Garrel, thanks for joining us. And literally just looking around, and then this one guy comes in, he gets down on the floor and pulls out a long box underneath this table. And that was the only box I hadn't seen in the store before. So I kind of like just stood there waiting. The guy is taking forever. Eventually, he comes out with a stack of comics about this big. Hey, Ben, this big. And, he goes and the guy just looks at them. And this is a sort of store where there's not set prices really for a lot of the stuff they have coming in. And so he just like says $75. The guy's like, okay, $75, put the stuff in a box and left. I went to that box now hoping like that there was something left over for me. I got that, which is no longer the book du jour. Now Civil War II #4 is, but I got that. And I got this nice Miss Marvel cover. And I got this one that I'm missing for a second run of this. I already have one complete run. So 3 books for $5. What are you going to do? The guy before me got some really good stuff. This was kind of like leftover town. All right. Then I went up to Federal Way. I went down by David Sinking near Mint's stomping grounds because that's where he lives. And Google Maps told me there were 2 comic book shops there. I had no idea what to expect, so just kind of went in blind. This one place did not have a lot of backstock. Like everything was new. Their backstock bins were, maybe 10 issues old, nothing more than like a year or 2 old. But their backstock bins were 60% off. There's a sign that said 50% off. Apparently, every Sunday during the summer, they redo it. So like last week is 40%, and now this week it's starting 60%. So I guess 2 weeks ago was 40%. So getting up to 60% off. I was like, ooh, 60% off is not bad. They're mainly modern books. Like I said, and this is a new place to me. The lady said usually during the summer they have pound sales where they sell comics by the pound, which I thought was really cool. But we can't have these big sales right now because of COVID. And this was a super COVID positive store. It you went in and there was like this barrier and said wait here till you're called in. And then there was nobody else in the store. A lady up front calls me over. She goes, please go wash your hands first and come on in. And I love that sort of stuff. I'm totally down with people being safe, so it's pretty cool. Next week it's 70%, and then the week after that's 80%. So it might be worth going back in like 2 weeks to grab a bunch of comics that are super cheap. But let's see what I got anyway. I got some dye for my sons, which is really cool. So picked up this Age of Resistance special. I believe this is the first appearance of Admiral Hodo in comics. I'm not positive, but I think so. And if not, that's okay. It's a cool cover. I've been thinking about picking it up because I'm really looking for the Age of Republic special. That's the big one. That's gaining a lot of steam that not a lot of people know about. I got that first Beckett. And remember, these are all 60% off cover prices. So I got some Wicked and Divines that I didn't have. I'm trying to complete this run. I meant to put this one back, didn't I? I can't remember. Oh, maybe I meant to get this. Hey, Chad, this is a something about this, man. Something about this is something, but I can't remember what it was. I'm not a big Turtles fan, so I just kind of grabbed it anyway. And I thought that's cool. This next one is one of my favorite Miss Marvel comics covers. Really dig that one. The Valerie Schiti, and I don't mean to say that to be funny, but it's Schiti. Is the artist's name, is her name. So I always thought that was really cool. I've got a few of those covers. I never finished reading this. I think I've got like 2 issues of it. So I got most of the Meet the Scrolls run, which I thought was pretty darn cool. They had this one, which is the first appearance of, is it Eclipse? I believe. Oh, that's a sick. Look at that spread, man. Pretty awesome. So I picked that up. I think it's the first appearance of Eclipse, and then issue 11 is the first appearance of her dad. Whatever the heck her dad's deal was, he's like a member of the Ring, which is the evil team, and I can't remember. It's read it so long ago, but picked those up. Pretty happy about that. The Girl in the Bay, there was a time when this was like being touted as going to be the big thing. I never picked it up then. I wasn't going to pick it up now, but like I said, 60% off. When you see comics, you kind of like, ooh, I'll grab that. Female Furies, this is just a book that I read the first 4, and then I got issue 6 and never got issue 5, so I wanted to read it. There you go. Sandman the Dreaming, I grabbed myself some odd issues. I've got like 1 through 9 of this series, and I've read it. And G. Willow Wilson's taking over like a rebooted one later on. Hey, Don, what's up? So I'm kind of excited for that, and I wanted to finish this. It's a beautiful book, and it's really cool. If you read Sandman, it's nice to like get that follow-up. And then they had this thing on the wall, and I'm like, hey, how much for that post on the wall? They're like, oh, it's been up there for a while. We'll just give it to you. So pretty excited. I got this nice Far Sector poster. I thought that was pretty cool. I'd love to get that signed by N.K. Jameson and Jamal Campbell. Thought that'd be really neat. So pretty solid poster there. And then I went over to another store that apparently was sold by a guy owned it and sold it recently to his brother. But this place seemed to know it had a lot more back issue stuff, but it also had a lot of dollar bin stuff. And what's better than a store 60% off sale is a store doing dollar bin sales. And that's what I got here. Is I got myself some dollar bin comics. Dun 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 dun. So first of all, I could be wrong here, but people have been saying pick this up. It's Free Comic Book Day. I don't know why, but there's something here. I haven't been following it. Honestly, don't know. So I picked it up anyway. There you go. I got that Free Comic Book Day Spider-Man that everybody's been talking about. One of the 3 books I paid more than $1 for was this one here, Knights of the Republic, number 6. This is first appearance of something, one of them, a Mandalorian that featured big in the Star Wars Rebels show, and I can't remember the name of it right off the bat. But been trying to get these Knights of the Old Republic. Obviously, there's some expensive ones that are harder to find. I'm kind of kicking myself now for having sold my number 9 as early as I did, but you know, still made money on it, so it's not a big deal. Been looking for this one. I've got at least 1, if not more, copies of this. Yeah, I'll send you one. I'll probably go back to the store and pick up more. But they're doing a show with Cassian Andor, and this is his first appearance in comics. And I think that people are not I think people are sleeping on this one. They're going for obviously some of the bigger names, but this is one. Is this the Mucilage? Might be the Mucilage. Sorry, I did not notice somebody hanging out down there. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, how you doing?
Joe, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. So yeah, if you guys see this one here, grab onto it, man. You just hanging out, or you got some books to show?
I always have books, but I'm just hanging out, watching you.
Hey, hang out. So this is the one that you need to pick up. This right here, the Age of Republic special. This is still going for cover price most places. I got these for $1 each. What's happening here is the first Ahsoka Tano in canon, right? So the Dark Horse books are not canon according to Marvel. This is the first Ahsoka Tano in canon, and this is kind of considered it's heating up a lot, right? Like words are not working very well with me. It's heating up a lot. I'm just gonna keep myself big while I'm showing books, so it's definitely something to look up to. Yeah, Mr. Garrel, I've been, I've always been a Star Wars fan, but I've been jumping on Star Wars books a lot recently, just because, why not? Let's see what else I got. First Spider-Woman from the Ultimate Universe. Got that for $1. Got this great Santa cover for $1. Love that cover. I think this is my second copy of it, but how can you not like that? First Time in Baz. You can find this one in dollar bins a lot, right? This is from the New 52 Free Comic Book Day, and I got it without anybody's stamp on there, which is pretty cool. But this is yeah, I'm pretty happy with this one. This is like a $10-12 comic. I think that's my second copy of that. The Accused. I've never seen this cover. This is really cool. These two books, The Accused and The Fallen, are, one is about the Fallen is like the funeral of Bruce Banner, and The Accused is the trial of Clint Barton for killing Bruce Banner, and Matt Murdock is obviously the lawyer. So it's actually, they're two really nice companion books to the Civil War II series that I kind of dig a lot. This is the first appearance of Renee Montoya as the Question. I would have never cared about this, except I really got into the Question. Hey, what's up, Stay Puft and Book Hermit? I really got into the Question as part of the Lois Lane series. So caring about a character I never thought I would care about. This is the final Stephanie Hans cover that
Very nice.
From The Wicked and Divine. She did 3 covers and a bunch of interiors on a few. And so, yeah, I had not been able to get this one yet. And that gets added to the Hans collection. Very, very happy. These are the B covers to Black Hammer 11 and 12 from the original series. I got the like the first 3 issues. I got the B covers, then I just started getting the A covers only. But for $1 each, can't pass them up. For $1 each, you can't pass up some dye. This is the second printing, but this is a gorgeous cover. This is back when they did full different covers for second printings, not not just changing the colors. So I got that, and I got that, and I got another copy of 4, and I got another copy of 4, and I got another copy of 4. Might be going overboard, but for $1 each, I can't not get them. And a copy of 5, and a copy of 6. So pretty excited to see all those in the dollar bin. I sold like all my die doubles and triples and quadruples, but now I got more. $1.
Wow.
So I mean, and there were more there. These were the best. The corners, they're like 9 6s because the corners are dinged. I mean, when I say dinged, I mean like, it's not perfect, but it's not a ding. So I figured I can't leave those there for $1 each, right? This Little Bird #1 is one of the greatest comics of last year, and it's gorgeous and wonderful. And so, yeah, so I have a lot of comics here. I know this one is not popular anymore. I don't know if he's still working on a screenplay, if it's ever going to be made into a show, but I loved Motor Girl. So I got myself a couple of those. Almost done here. The Witches special that they did, that was $1. I couldn't remember if I had this, but I can't pass it up for $1. Marvel Universe book 1. I think I'm missing this one, but I'm not positive. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Comics will break your heart. Little Bird was fantastic. This, I think, was one of the nice finds. G.I. Joe #2 for $1. And poor man will remember this one. He actually showed me this the other day. Like 2 months ago. He's like, "You have this Hans with the Interiors." And I'm like, "No, I don't have that, but I'm probably not going to spend the money. I'm just getting Hans covers." I'm almost done with my Hans covers. I might be looking for more Interiors. So I grabbed that. And then the last books I got were there's my Errant. Apparently the Zero book on this is like a decent one, but they didn't have that. So I just got 1, 2, and 3. I don't really know much about this series. Everything Star Wars is picking up, and for $1, I will get it. The last thing I got, again, I might have 55, but I also might not. So I got myself Sandman for $1. And that was my haul. Like I said, seeking near Mint's stomping grounds, drove up to Federal Way and went into some stores. And I texted him with a picture of that stuff, and he's like, "Oh, you should actually go to this shop in Auburn, which is further away." So I was still pretty excited.
So their prices go down, and you're going to go back next week?
I'd probably give it 2 weeks. I might go back to the one that had the dollar sale, the one that's 60%. Hey, buddy, what's up? You're okay. The one that was 60% off today, I didn't leave much in those bins that would be worth it 70%, but I left stuff that would probably be worth it at 80% off. So if I go back 2 weeks, so I got a little bit more time to do this kind of crazy hunting before school starts again. It feels like I've had a lot of time off to go hunting the past 6 months, but yeah, it was nice to drive out of Tacoma. Federal Way is only 20-minute drive away, and to go to 2 brand new comic book shops that I'd never been to before.
I don't mean to bring up shop, but what is work going to be like for you? I mean, are you going to be distanced?
In Pierce County, which is where I live and where I teach, and also where my wife teaches, we're different districts. We're all in Pierce County. It's going to be fully remote to start.
Yeah.
And I am going to guess that is going to stay fully remote for months, if not for the entire year next year. My district has been pretty up on it in terms of like the last week when school wasn't even over. We did this whole thing where we developed a protocol for how to choose a virtual platform if we had to go to virtual. Because I teach in CTE, there's really not a lot of virtual courses out there. So then other people are working on writing courses, and we're all, this has been meetings and trainings and meetings and trainings and votes and polls and meetings and trainings. It's been a busy summer. Before I got on the StreamYard and started having fun, I was looking at my emails, and apparently I've got a meeting tomorrow, which I only just found out this evening. So it's we're working really hard. I'm just super lucky in that my entire district is one-to-one iPad, so every kid has an iPad at home.
Nice.
Not every kid has Wi-Fi, and they will pay for Wi-Fi to most places. If you can't afford it, my district's offering to pay for it. But some, like my district, or at least my school, is in unincorporated Pierce County. And some of the roads out there, they're like dirt roads to houses where you'd have to pay $30,000, $40,000 to lay cable just to get like internet. Like there is no nothing going out there anyway. So it's a little tricky. I don't know exactly what they're going to do. But yeah, so
Yeah, I was thinking about your robotics program. I didn't know how
I'm
you were
not,
going to do
I'm not
that.
teaching robotics.
Oh
We
man.
scrapped it. We're looking for a new course to replace it. We're evaluating some different courses. Hey, puppy,
Gosh.
I don't want you jumping on that bed, okay? There's a lot of comic books there. Oh, it's a good girl. Just don't jump on the bed. This is the new puppy. She's a little nervous. So you got any books to show us?
I was wondering if you have this one. You have this one, right?
I do. I
Yeah.
do. I think I sold that one to you.
Oh, did you?
Did I?
No, I don't think so.
No?
This is from Westfield Comics, one of
Okay.
the only online shops I trust.
Oh, okay. No, that's a
Wow,
nice.
this StreamYard, this thing is weird. The StreamYard.
Well, because you're going the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
That confuses
Just a beautiful cover.
the heck out of me. Yeah. Let's
This
see.
is one of the things I plan to slab, when cons come back.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I don't want to send my books in. I'd rather go to a convention and drop it off there.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I got this press and everything. It's ready to go, but I don't want to send it in. No, I'd rather, drop it off. That's how I've done it the last couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been waiting to get these slabs for a while.
Oh, what's that one? Is that Alex Ross?
This is Jock. Can you believe that?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
Huh.
Yeah, it was hot for a while, then it just disappeared, and then I got it for cheap.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm gonna get this slabbed. I got this for a couple bucks at Half Price Bookstore.
Oh,
Our
nice.
favorite stomping grounds, right?
Yeah. My half price was emptied yesterday. I was a little upset, but
Empty. You mean no people or no comics?
no comment. No comment. I get so they are. So the shelves are full or fullish, but so he's not putting anything out until like the supply goes down. In my opinion, there's nothing there that I want, so he should be putting out more books because I think I'm the only customer and he should be catering to me. But the way it works.
So does he jack up the prices on some of the higher end books, or he just keeps them low?
No, he I think his prices are fair, and I have a pretty decent relationship with him. So if he's pricing books, oh, that's my next grail right there. I need to get that book.
I gotta get it pressed though. I gotta get it pressed and cleaned first because I bought it right off the shelf, and I'm sure there's something that could improve it.
Right. Hey, Perry's lurking here. Yeah, oh, very nice.
Joe Jusko.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she looks like Linda Carter in here.
A little bit.
Like a blonde Linda Carter.
Yeah. No, the manager or the comics book guy at my half price, he knows me by sight and name, and I can usually, if a book's been out for a while, I can, and it's a bigger book, I can talk him down in price a little bit. If he's going through stuff that he hasn't put out yet, because he's just like putting stickers on or something, he'll let me look through that before he puts it away, which is kind of cool. But yeah, he's gotten much better. I think he's upped his game in terms of not letting good books slip through his fingers and go for like $2.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to find good finds at $2.
Yeah, I have about 3 or 4 half price bookstore near where I live.
Oh, really?
And I just go to them. I rotate.
Yeah.
This is another one I want to get slabbed. This one right here.
Oh, nice. Is that Phil Noto?
This is Joe Chiodo, if I got that pronounced correctly.
I've gotten every artist wrong so far in every book you've shown.
All right. Yeah, I always have to look it up every now and then, too. Yeah, kind of looks like, hey, Gomez, how's it going?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like Joe Jusko at first, and then it doesn't look like it exactly. Then this was a poster in my bedroom a long time ago.
Oh,
this
really?
This is an old picture, and this just came out recently. Sorry about that glare.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Poor man comments says he likes that Shield variant.
This is a new one too. It's just for my PC, not to get slabbed.
Very cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of Black Widow variants coming out, but I have to wait till September. I ordered them like in January, for God's sakes. So it's just ridiculous what happened with Diamond.
Well, it's crazy too. All the books that you get have all these advertisements now for things that were happening in like March and April.
Or there's some books I wanted and they got canceled. They're just gone.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's really weird to see what's going on. I don't quite get it. So let's see who's here. We got Gomi. Shout out Broski. Auburn Comics is here, always claiming my best books. Go like somebody's suit. Terry is here. I don't know if he's looking at his show, if he's actually here. Joe, I agree. Free fiber optics would be great. We said hi to John Dizzle. He was here early. From Portland, Comics Will Break Your Heart. Just great reviews on IG, and I think branching out to YouTube more often. Stay Puff is here before he's got to fall asleep for the night. Calls out Comics Will Break Your Heart by name, and of course, she says Little Bird was fantastic, which is correct.
Won an Eisner this year. Can you believe that?
What's that?
They won an Eisner Award this year.
Yeah, no, I can absolutely believe it. It was great. That one, Invisible Kingdom, which is one of my favorite reads. One, a whole bunch of.
There was another image one, Bitterroot. That's really good.
I stopped reading that. I don't know why. I should have kept up with that more.
Yeah, I stopped at issue 5, and that was it. I didn't go any further.
I would actually love to go and find the movie variants that they're doing now.
Like Do the Right Thing. That's a really nice one.
That one is great, but they've got a whole bunch for different. It's really, really good.
Oh, they jack up those prices. Oh, they just get so expensive.
They're insane.
Yeah.
So I was going to show you. So I got this one the other day. This is the first Oracle, and I got this in like a $3 pack. But I got to get that price sticker off. It's great because it's a half price book. Price sticker.
Yeah, I hate those.
I didn't get.
You got to get the hair dryer.
Yep, but I didn't get it from half price books. I got it from another store in town that sells like used stuff. So they must have bought it from half price and then decided they didn't want it and put it back in this place. So it gets crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So where are you located?
I'm in the East Bay of San Francisco.
Okay, so
I'm like north of Silicon Valley. So Gomez is south of me. He lives in San Jose.
Oh, nice.
Cholula. And then I'm south of Reggie Collects. He lives in Hayward, which is north of me.
Okay.
And then AG Surfer and Discovery Bay, they're east of me.
You're the epicenter of YouTube comic book California community.
Yeah, I'm surrounded. Yeah, we met up one time at a con. There was a bunch of us. Yeah, that makes me so sad that there's not going to be conventions for a while. It's like, that is such a pisser.
I've run into Bueller like several times. The first time 3 years ago, he came up to me. This is when he was just starting out. And then like the next time I saw him, he's got his press badge and he's like, he's going full steam ahead interviewing stuff, which is really cool. And then, I went to the last time I went to Emerald City, I went with David Sinking near Comics, and that was, he kind of just, messaged me out of the blue. And that was one of the greatest experiences I had, was just going with somebody else. So
yes, yeah.
I'd love for that to happen again.
But that's a good con too. I see a lot of variants come out of there and a lot of artists show up.
Oh yeah. No, it's good. It's almost too much. Like it gets overwhelming. Hello, Mr. Lecter. It's just, there's so many people and it's massive. When I took my son last year, he was going to see the Critical Role panel, and I didn't realize it until I got there. It was actually at a different building. Like you had to leave the building, go down the road. It wasn't far away, but I was like, just, that's how massive it is, that we had to go to the ballroom of a hotel that was 3 blocks away. I was like, oh dear, this is big con. So yeah, it's huge. It's 4 days, or it was 4 days. But I love it. The one I like more though is going down to Rose City Comic Con in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
So many image creators or comic book creators, but a lot of image creators live in Portland. So like Brian Michael Bendis is always there. Matt Fraction is always there. Greg Ruck is always there. And so it's a much smaller con, but with a really star caliber of creators. And so it's less pressure, right? And
so Image's headquarters used to be here in Berkeley.
Right, but they moved to Portland.
Yeah, they moved to Oregon, so it's cheaper.
Yeah,
cheaper overhead. So I used to go to their I forgot what they call them, the Image Expos. Image Expos, yeah.
That looks cool.
So they have them where in Oakland now. So I mean they have them up in Oregon now. The Image Expos, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like there's some good stuff going out there, but again, it's like there's nothing going on now. So I know when Emerald City Comic Con was supposed to be in March, and when they said that they were finally canceling it, and everybody kind of knew that was going to happen, they had rescheduled it for August. And at the time, August sounded like, months away. Oh, no problem. We'll go in August. That will be fine. That will be fun. There's no way I can imagine going to a con right now. It's even worse than in March.
No way. God.
I don't even know if I would go next year in March. It's insane. I'm going to wait. So somebody on Twitter said, what was the quote? Follow what the big companies with the inside knowledge are doing. And then a day after I saw that, Google was like, yep, we're not having anybody come into the offices until the summer of 2021. And to me, that's a really good sign that like people with a lot of knowledge or a lot of brain power don't think we're going to be okay for a while. And so that was something to think about.
Yeah, well, it takes a long time to come up with a vaccine, and even though you have a vaccine, you got to weed out the trouble. I mean, there's side effects and all that. And so we're thinking 4 to 15 years, but I'll be in my 60s by the time I go to my next con.
Yeah, no, it's a little, not a little scary. It's very scary what's going on. And just hearing like schools that have opened, within like 2 days, they're finding that somebody was positive, and then they infected 30 people, and it gets insane. So I think you gotta err on the side of caution. Here's another book I showed off the other day. This is the board game variant for Chew Number One. You had to buy the board game. So this came out in 2015. I think Chew started like 2009, 2010. So it's a much later reprint, but it's hard to find. Apparently, there are some of them that there's like a signature variant where it's a little bit different and both creators signed it. And that board was a board game that only got released at a certain place. So what I'm thinking of doing, and this is how crazy I get with the hustle, is buying the board games at half price books. There's 2 more left. I bought 1. There's 2 more left. Taking out the comics and then turning around and selling the board games back to half price books, right? Not returning them and lying, but just actually selling them back because they take used stuff. And then maybe keeping one of them to play and then seeing how much I can get for the other 2 books and see if I can turn a profit that way.
I thought there was supposed to be a TV show or some cartoon that was supposed to come out, and then
I've heard those rumors cycling like for 2 years now. If that ever happens, then I think holding on to these is really going to be worthwhile. That's kind of why I'm thinking about doing that. It's a long-term maybe, and that's why it's called speculation, because you get no idea if you're right, and it's a sucker's game. And if I was smarter, I wouldn't do it, but it's fun too. So
I've never read it, but I heard it's really good. Have you had a chance to read it?
Yes. No, I've got I read it all in trade paperbacks, and then when I caught up, so I got it a little after it started reading the trades, really liked it, so got it on my pull list. So about the last 10 issues I actually got on my pull list, and then I went back and found everything. And this is, I don't know if I knew you back then, but Chew Number One, I got, is it up there? No, it's in here. I found this at Half Price Books for $2. And I was so excited, I kind of ran with it. It's right here. Hold on a second. I kind of ran with it into like another aisle somewhere to check to really see if like I had it and if it was the actual price they said it was, because I just didn't think that it could actually be that price. And as it came out of the bag, I got a tape on the damn thing. And so I was freaking out that I got the tape pull. Let me go big here. So yeah, I mean, $150 book that I ruined like almost immediately. I don't know if you can see it. Where is it? It's good that I can't find it. Yeah. So I'll see if I can get the glare. Somewhere down here underneath my finger, you can see it's a little faded. And it's a little bit of a tape pull.
So that's where you got to get your autograph or your remark.
Well, I gave this to All About. I mailed this to All About Comics, who is going to C2E2 about 2 years ago, and he got Rob Guillory to sign. And I said, ask him to sign it right over. And I guess he forgot or something. So now I gotta hope that I find that I find John Layman at a con, 3-4 years from now, and get him to sign right over that part. But yeah, it was issue 1, issue 2. You had like 1 through 6 for the incredibly cheap price of next to nothing. And this actually needs a press now. This corner that happened in the shipping. Half the books that I sent to JP from All About Comics, nothing confusing JP's budget collecting. Half of them got dented in a corner, but no ticks or color breaking or anything. So
yeah, I think you get a good presser, you can get that.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I cannot get the paperback that I pulled off of the tape. That doesn't happen. So if you want a jumping on point for Chew, this just came out, and it's John Layman, who is one of the 2 original creators, and Rob Guillory, who's now doing Farmhand, is supposed to do the art in some of the issues. But the guy that they got to kind of replace him, Don Boltwood, is good enough that he looks like Rob Guillory's work without looking like he's copying it. But this is about the main character from Chew, Tony Chew. This is his sister, who we didn't meet at all during the during the first series, and she has her own food related powers. So his powers were basically, if he ate something, he would get like a history of it. So if there was a crime scene and there was a guy laying there and he took a bite of the dead guy's arm, he could, in his mind, see what had happened to that guy and how he died, which of course becomes really disgusting and horrible. And you think about all the ways that crime can be, that power can be used. This one, her power is, if she sits down and has a meal with you, she knows what you're thinking. So,
just what you need from a woman.
Right. So she'd use that to turn to a life of crime. Whereas, her brother became a detective. So it's really good, and it's full of a lot of like really humorous in jokes and just like crazy in your face ideas. Like, they don't stop with those 2 powers. Every issue in the original one, you met somebody who had a new power, that had a new food related power. He had a cousin who could make knives out of like any food, and just all sorts of crazy stuff. So definitely worth it as far as I'm concerned.
So that just came out. That's
yeah, you could find that. Chad says he's glad he picked it up. Yeah, that literally last Wednesday, I think, or the Wednesday before. Not more than 2 weeks old. You can probably find that on the rack still. Well, so what are you reading currently?
I can't even remember. I read a lot of digital stuff. Like on Hoopla, there was a Punisher run from, I don't know, 15 years ago, because I had issues here and there. I didn't have the whole thing. So I just read it digitally, and it wasn't that great. I kind of miss that Punisher vibe, because I really enjoyed the series, and I wanted to read a good Punisher story, and it was just okay.
Yeah, I have not read a lot of Punisher. I don't know that I would love to read a lot of Punisher. I remember I read the original um, limited series when it first came out, and I loved it as a kid. I watched the show though, and I was blown away by how good it was.
Me too.
Did not expect it to be anywhere near that good, and I was like, "Holy cow, this is really, really good."
And then they canceled it. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, there was just a lot of moral questions that they posed and left like, well, I mean, the Punisher had an answer, but they left it up for the viewer to really have to stop and think about it, and it wasn't there weren't easy answers, and they really stopped and made you think. And for a show that could easily have just been excessive violence and action, it was excessive violence and action with a really good kind of deeper questions about the role of vigilantism in society, and that shocked me. I didn't expect that from a Marvel Netflix series, so that was really good. Really enjoyed that. I mean, you got that a little bit in Jessica Jones. You didn't get that in Defenders. I never watched Iron Fist. You sort of got that in Daredevil, but it was more straightforward. So I was impressed.
Well, I liked Daredevil better, but in both shows they had great villains. They had a great Kingpin, and they had a great Jigsaw for Punisher. That really worked out well. And,
definitely.
But I'm missing out on comics. I'd like to see or read another good Punisher story. And it's been a while since I read a good one.
Yeah. Somebody recommended the Punisher Max series, which is when he was in Vietnam, I think. And I have not read that, but I heard that was good. Yeah. I'll just
add that 4-issue miniseries. It's called Born, I believe. And then they got some crossovers with Nam. Tell some stories about him in Vietnam. But I'd like to see some more of the crime boss kind of thing.
Right.
I haven't read that in a while.
Well, I've got the 2 issues of the series, the Nam, that he was in. I think it was 48 and 49 or 49 and 50 or something. Haven't read him yet, but I've got those. I'm trying to collect that whole series. Definitely an interesting character with a lot of stories can be told about him, for sure. I actually really like the lady that was she was a bit more prominent in the first season. I can't remember her name, but she was like the one who was the detective. He kind of kept tracking him down, but she had her own stuff to deal with. She at one point she'd hooked up with a character that was Jigsaw, but then they were like diametrically opposed to each other. She was just a really interesting character in the show, for sure.
And of course, I read the first 5 issues of Bitterroot. I thought that was great.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Is that going to be a show or a movie? It probably will be.
That was the story. I mean, JP's always telling us to be careful of option news, because just because something's option doesn't mean it's going to get made. Option means the company paid a certain amount of money, said, we'd like an option on that, which means they get to choose. It doesn't mean that they're going to make it for sure. So who knows?
Well, it won the Eisner this year for continuing series, and it was a good read. I like how they set it up, and its original story.
Yeah,
I think it's an original story. I'm sure people steal ideas from everywhere, but I've never read a comic like that before.
Yeah, no, it was definitely original. And Dave Walker is great. Who's the artist on that?
There's a guy named Sanford Green, but I think that's the writer, isn't it?
No, I think that's the artist.
That's the artist. Oh,
let's see. Yeah, David Walker, somebody Brown, and Sanford Green. You got that one signed by David Walker.
Oh, nice.
Sanford Green on the side there.
So that's the Mike Mignola cover.
Is that?
I think that's
Oh, you're
Mike
right.
Mignola.
Is that? I should have gotten Mike Mignola to sign it at Emerald City.
Did you encountered him in Emerald
Mike
City?
Mignola? Oh yeah, I've
Oh.
got his signature on lots of stuff. One of my favorite Mignola things is Baltimore. And I just thought what's it called? Hellboy was too much to get into, right? Because since I like to collect everything. But this Baltimore, I'd read like a copy of something called Baltimore the Plague Ships, which was a one shot, and then I love this character Baltimore. And so I got all the different, they're only like maybe 5-issue limited series, and there's about 4 or 5 of them. Some of them are 1 issue, some of them are 2, some are 3, but like 5 is the most that any of them are. And so I got Mignola to sign the number 1s of all of mine. So yeah, Baltimore to me is a great read and would make a great character, I think. And unfortunately, that hasn't happened, but definitely I think would be a great character for a TV show.
I would like to meet him at a convention again. I only met him one time. He lives not far from me. He lives in Berkeley, and
oh really? Okay.
I have a Punisher cover, a Green Lantern cover, and a Batman cover. I'd like him to sign.
Oh sweet.
Just cool art,
Yeah, and he's on random things, He just he does so much of his own stuff with Hellboy and the BPRD universe, but every once in a while he just pops up on oh look, there's a Mignola cover on Xena the Warrior Princess, right? There's just random Mignola covers out there on different things, which I think is kind of really cool. So I don't know if I read more, but apparently I only have issue 1 of Bitterroot, so that might be something I end up getting in trade, just because unless I can find those movie variants for cheap, I'm not going to pay a heck of a lot of money for those. That's
yeah.
So I'm going to check this G.I. Joe because I don't know if there's something wrong with it, but I thought $2 for G.I. Joe or $1 for G.I. Joe number 2 was pretty darn good. And it's a nice shape.
I only have one G.I. Joe book. That's the first appearance of Sgt Slaughter. I don't know if you know that guy.
That's 48.
I don't know if it's 48, but I remember Sgt Slaughter being a wrestler in my youth.
Yeah, no, there was so many first appearances in G.I. Joes, but I think that was 48, if I'm not mistaken. I had issue 1, but I sold it to a guy to get my X-Men 94, which I had to do. And then it turned out the 94 that I got, the cover was detached and he didn't know. So he refunded me some of the money, but it was a cash plus comics trade. That was a little disappointing. And then I have 26 and 27, which is the origin of Snake Eyes and the first Softmaster, and really, really cool books. And I've had a 21, but I got rid of it. I really want a pristine, beautiful 21 raw. Don't want it slabbed, but just with no spine ticks. And so it's hard to find them. Usually if somebody has a good copy, they slab it right away. I want that raw, but beautiful. So I'll wait.
Do you send books in for slabbing, or do you drop it off at cons? What do you do?
I don't slab. I think I have 1 slab, and that would be this one. And that's only because I couldn't find it raw when I went to buy this. It was only being sold as a slab book. So this is literally the only slab that I own. I've had a few come through my. Oh no, I'm sorry. I've got one other one. I've had a few come through my possession, but to me, it's just too expensive.
It is.
I just don't want to go down that rabbit hole because if I look around, there's so many books that I could slab, right? So I got that, and I think I just got this because I found a good deal on it, but I don't know why. I want this in a 9.8, or I don't want it. Like, I don't want a 9.6 of this. That's just, so I'll probably end up selling that at some point so I can get the 9.8, just because I don't need that. But, you know, the other thing about slabbing is I get a lot of raw books signed, and I don't have the patience to stand around with it and pay for a CGC witness to, like, follow me around, you know, and get all that. That'd be crazy. But, you know, just a small sampling. If I was to start slabbing stuff, I would go ahead slab that one.
Nice.
And then I don't know if you saw my Stephanie Hans haul, but, you know, I would get this one slabbed for sure.
Wow.
But you know, if I went to CGC, they would say this is a scribble, right? Because they didn't have a witness it. I'm like, I opened a package live on the air that was sent from her with her return address on the envelope, which you better believe I have not thrown out yet. I know that she signed that. I've got, you know, a text chain proving that she was going to sign that. So do I send it to CBCS and get a yellow label? You know, I'd prefer, I didn't get these so that I could sell them, I guess is what I'm saying. I got these because I love the artist, and I'm super happy to have, you know, to have
That's
these
gorgeous.
books. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Super happy to have these books. I don't need to spend money at slabs. I don't need to prove that the signatures are real. I know that they are. And I didn't buy them to flip. You know, if you're buying something to flip, it might be worth to buy a $200 comic that you can slab for $35 and then sell for $600. But it's not. That's not what I'm doing. The only other slab that I do have is still at CBCS, and it's been there since February 8th.
What?
Me off.
What's going on?
I went to, at Half Price Books, I found Amazing Spider-Man 4, First Appearance of Stilt, signed by Stan Lee with a COA for $25. The book was in almost perfect condition, except right down here, it looked like somebody had taken a paper clip or a pin and pushed a hole just through the cover. There's like a pinprick hole, right? And so clearly I wouldn't have slabbed that, but because it had the Stan Lee and I don't have any other Stan Lee signatures, I'm like, I am going to get that signature verified so I can have an official Stan Lee signature. To me, that's worth it. So I went ahead and I sent that off right before COVID times. I had them do signature verification and pressing and cleaning because I wanted to get like the best grade I could get on my, you know, my First Appearance of Silk Stan Lee. And it's been there. I'll show you in a second. I'll share my screen since February 8th, and it just drives me crazy that it's taking so long.
And they haven't given you updates on.
I haven't gotten any. So processing, right? This is what I get. Just damn.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, that's a pain.
$78 total, right? Because I did slabbing and handling and signature verification, and there's my address if anybody wants it. So I'm just sitting there waiting for my Amazing Spider-Man number 4.
Wow, nice.
February, where's the date? It shows when I submitted it. February 8th, 2020. So 49.
Dang.
That's a long time to be waiting for a comic, you know. And I sent them an email once, and they were kind of just, oh my God, we got Flicks and Comics in the house. JoJo is here, yeah. You know, it's just ridiculous. It was like it shouldn't take that long. And they're like, well, you know, COVID and we got a backlog, and it took time to do the signature. February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, it's been 6 months, and it's insane. August 8th. By the end of Friday, it'll be 6 months exactly.
Have you tried calling them? Because I knew when I was waiting a long time, I did call them a couple
I
times.
haven't. I've been trying very. I've been trying to be the good person, not the guy who's calling and yelling and screaming. But I'm
Well, 6 months, and you don't have to scream.
right. Well, I tend to scream, so maybe that's my problem. But I mean, you're absolutely right. It's too long. It's ridiculous. Nobody should be without a comic book for 6 months.
I hate that feeling. When I drop off my books at the con, I just got that separation anxiety, and then the wait is just—it's only a few months, but it just feels awful.
Yeah, no, and I had a another copy that I sold because the prices were going through the roof, and I sold it so I could buy this one. See if I can get this off the wall without destroying it. This is my other big book that I've wanted forever. And I finally saw one that was a decent price, so I sold a bunch of stuff to get this. And yeah, it was just it's one of the things they had to do. But now I don't have a First Silk until that comes back from come on, back there, until it comes back from CBCS. So I'm just sitting waiting, and that's all you can do. It's just sit and wait. So I like that better. So we'll see. Hopefully, maybe someday soon it will appear, and I'll be like, yay! And the other thing is, I don't know. It looked perfect, except for, like I said, that one literally like a pinprick hole in the front cover. So I don't know. Does that bring it down to an 8.5, or does that bring it down to a 9.6? I've got
9.2 maybe.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't have
No
enough.
effect on the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, CBCS and CGC, they have these programs set up for the signings, and then that's not the same thing as being the artist.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. Send your book in, and the artist will sit there in an office somewhere and sign them all. And they'll
you spend a lot of money, wait a long time. It's not worth it. I'd rather stand in line and meet the guy.
Yeah.
Or
so I mean, and it's a rabbit hole. As much as comics are a rabbit hole, that's like just this whole second rabbit hole you could fall down. I remember when I was at Emerald City with Sinking Near Comics, I was stunned by his CGC orders. So he had like a bunch of books that he had, a couple things that he actually had cracked, right? So he could get them signed and then witnessed and reslab. Hey, sweetie. And that was insane. And then he had a Batman Who Laughs blank sketch cover. He got Neil Adams to do a drawing on that, a sketch on that, and then got that signed and witnessed and slabbed. But the absolute best was we went to the guy who did Little Bird, Darcy Van Polgeest, and he was signing at the Image booth, and he literally said, I am not going to sign if you have a witness, right? I will not sign with witnesses. Because a lot of artists don't want, like, I guess they just don't want that money. They know how much money a slab can get or something, and they wanted to keep it like about meeting fans and signing their books. So I've seen a few creators do that. So anyway, we got the convention exclusive. I bought like 2 of them. Dave bought 2 of them. Dave literally had the witness stand off to the side. So he was like spy witnessing, and then got the signature on the convention exclusive of Little Bird, and it was a witness. So he's probably got the only 9/8 slab of the ECC convention exclusive of Little Bird #1, which is what he wants. So I couldn't go through all that, but I totally respect his game. It was impressive.
So who's on your wish list of people that you'd like to meet at a con whenever conventions start up again?
So I would like to meet Eve Ewing for sure, because I've got her signature, but that's because somebody got it for me. Stephanie Hans, I've got tons of Hans signatures, but I've never met her. I've conversed with her. She sent me a package. You know, I've sent her money. I've sent her dad a postcard because he was not doing well. And she asked people on Twitter to do that, but I've never met her. So those right up there to Stephanie Hans the most. But also, I've got a lot of Miss Marvels signed by G. Willow Wilson, and I don't have any of the artists on. And I would love to. I'd love to get Adrian Alfana, and I think it's Takeshi Miyazawa is one of the artists that did some of the early work with her on Kamala Khan. So I'd love to get those. I don't even love them so much as artists. I just really want to meet them so I can get double signatures on the comics. As far as like people, I've met a lot of my heroes, right? I met Claremont. I have way more X-Men keys now, so I would not mind going back and getting more Claremont signatures. And he charges $5 a signature, and I'm like, I'm fine with that. You know, I basically gave him $50 and 10 books. I'm like, I'm at it, man. I gave Bendis like 20 books. He doesn't charge, but his signature and his Sharpie got sloppy towards the end, and it looks bad. And I don't blame him because I was overdoing it. You know, I met the Peonies from ElfQuest. I've met Kieran Gillen, met Matt Fraction and Kelly Sue. Jenny Frison is one I'd like to meet and get her to sign some stuff. I've met Greg Rucka. I've met Rick Remender. I'm trying to look around and get my. Saladin Ahmed, the guy who does Magnificent Miss Marvel and writes Miles Morales right now, and he writes. He wrote Abbott. I would love to get him, and probably number 2 after Hans, Jeff Lemire.
Yeah, I'd like to meet Jeff.
So many Lemire books waiting for his signature, and he was supposed to be at Emerald City 2 years ago, and he wasn't. He had to cancel, and then of course Emerald City hasn't happened.
Hey, did Jeff Lemire write Southern Bastards, or am I confused?
No, that's Jason Aaron.
Jason Aaron. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Jeff Lemire wrote Plutona. I want to say Trillium, Sentient, Sweet Tooth, Black Hammer.
Black Hammer. That's the one I'd like to get him to sign.
Yeah, just to name a few. So I've got a whole bunch of his stuff waiting. People that I haven't that have been at cons that I've missed. Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, lines were too long. And Scott Snyder, lines just way too long. You know, I'm one of the few people sitting there with a witch's book, while everybody else just has Batman's. You know, this would have been like way too long to wait for.
Well, Snyder came to a comic book store in San Francisco. Oh, nice. So Surfer, Cholula, and we went there. You get to go in line a couple times because you go through once, then you get to go in the back of the line after you get your maximum number of books signed. Then you get some more books signed. So it was kind of cool he stopped by. And I also met Capullo in Houston at Comic Palooza. Oh, yeah. There's some artists that I would really like to meet that are probably impossible to meet, like Alex Ross. You're never going to meet that guy. And Frank Miller. I'd love to meet him, but he's never around. Yeah, no, definitely would be difficult. I haven't seen Frank Miller on any like convention schedules at all. And Alex Ross is, he's reclusive as well. I've met Kurt Busiek, who wrote Marvels, but I've never met Alex Ross, who drew Marvels. I think those would be the top ones for me. Would be Jeff Lemire. Oh, and Brian K. Vaughan. That's another. Oh, I met Brian K. Vaughan at the Image Expo. So he was really? Okay. So, yeah. That's awesome. He doesn't come out of Canada a lot. And so Fiona Staples was at Emerald City my first time I went, so 4 or 5 years ago, and I got her to sign my Saga #1, which was like, wow. Wow, you have a Saga #1? I have a Saga #1. I bought it maybe 5 years ago for $20, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So did you like that comic book? I mean, did you enjoy reading it? Oh, yeah. No, Saga is a great read. Saga is, and I'd forgotten how good it was. I just recently bought the hardcover collections. I've got all 3 of them, and I sat down and read them. I was like, holy cow, this is really good. The writing is
strong. Storytelling is strong. Characters are strong. The way they can balance all these crazy characters, it's really awesome. It really is. So JoJo says that she got to meet McFarlane, Miller, Jock, and Bruce Timm. Yeah, I'd love to meet Jock and get him. I'd love him and Snyder to be signing together. Basically, I'm not a McFarlane fan. Nothing against him, just not it.
I used to be a McFarlane fan, but I grew out of it. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. A taste change. Is there anybody that anybody you've met that's been really disappointing?
Do I have to say that online?
you don't have to. I the only one, I wouldn't say disappointing. Some people have been standoffish, or just like, here's a signature, boom. The one that I really just didn't like is Howard Shakin. You ever meet Howard Shakin?
I met Howard Shakin. I love that guy.
Really?
I mean, he's cussing every other word.
He's cussing, but what got me is that he just started going off on how he's just really opinionated in a snotty way is what I found, right? He just was like, with me, he actually wasn't that bad, but with the next people in line or the people before me, he was just going like, oh, you should read this and you should read that and that. And I remember, now that I said it, maybe that's subliminally while I was doing it, JoJo, I remember you had a horrible experience with Shakin, and I witnessed the same thing next to him. I've been back and forth with Cates. Cates is one of those ones that charge, and I don't think
you mean Johnny Cates?
Johnny Cates. He was okay, but nothing. I wasn't like, wow.
I met Bruce Timm. He was okay, but
yeah,
it was hard to get into that line.
Yeah.
I had to wait for the break, and then I got in line right away when he was on his way back.
Nice.
Because people they crowd that line so fast. They strategically know what to do and how to get to him. So I just waited after lunch.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of there's a group of creators that go to Emerald City Comic Con, and Matt Rosenberg, Marguerite Bennett, James Tinian, and they all have like the same company, I guess, representing them. And they're
handlers.
Yeah, these women that walk around and like they kind of get in your face, like, are you getting signatures? How many? And they like charge and write you your receipt. And it's really not. It doesn't feel like a friendly time of meeting creators anymore.
Ruins the experience.
I've kind of skipped that. I got my 4 kids walk into the bank signed, and I skipped that whole row, that whole group altogether because it's not worth it. On the other hand, I've had amazing times with Kelly Sue and Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky, Valentine Delangelo, the artist on Kelly Sue's Bitch Planet. Just all.
That's a great comic book.
Yeah, absolutely. Who else? Greg Rucka was great. Rick Remender was great. I talked to Rick about we're like the same age and like the same music, so talked to him about that. So I've had as many, if not more, good experiences than I have had bad experiences, which is really pretty cool.
Have you met Neil Adams yet?
I didn't meet him, so I'm not a big Neil Adams fan. Not that I dislike him, I just don't read or collect like his work and his artwork. So, but I respect it. But Dave got him to sign to do that sketch on a Batman blank. So, as he literally has like a whole section to himself, like tables. It's not just one table. He's like in a separate section, and he's got this whole thing worked out, and he's there behind the desk sketching out stuff. So we went up and shook hands since David spent an obscene amount of money to get a sketch cover done by him. So yeah, that was really cool. He was very nice, very kind.
Yeah. I think the first time I met him, he was very nice. The next couple times, it was just okay.
Yeah. Southern Comic Geek says he should have been nicer as much as he charges.
Yeah, he charges a lot. I wouldn't buy a sketch from him. It's just too much.
It was a lot. I'll tell you what, he wasn't being paid back in the day the way people are paid now. And I'm not saying that they're paid a lot now, but he certainly was. There's a lot less back then. So you can understand it. Randy Emberlin is another one who's been really cool. He did a lot of Spider-Man art back in the 80s, which is really nice. Who's the other guy?
Oh, I gotta tell you my worst experience. My worst experience is Rob Liefeld. Oh my God, that guy's too much.
He was what happened? Anything particular? Or?
You know, I only had one comic book of his at the time, and my favorite one by him is "What If Wolverine Was a Agent of Shield." I wish I could have gotten that signed because that's my favorite work by him. But I only had something called Darker Image, and I gave it to him to sign, and then he just looked at me, Darker Image, as if I was giving him something stupid to sign. But it was his work.
Right. No,
it just ruined it. I didn't like it.
I get that impression a lot. Like, every story you hear about him, you want to kind of think, oh, well, maybe there's another side to it. But all you hear is that he'll only sign this. He'll only sign this. He charges this much for signature on this. It's like, hey, you co-created Deadpool, right? You are not the creator of Deadpool. You co-created Deadpool, Fabian. I can't pronounce his last name, Nick Cezza, whatever it is. And it's like, get off your high horse. Creators, whatever somebody brings to you, you should sign happily. And he just wasn't that way.
I was excited to meet him, and I was an admirer of his work, and just meeting him like that.
Yeah, and then it stinks because Darker Image was a book that you brought him, and clearly you wanted it signed. Was that the first appearance of Pitt and Max, or something like that?
The first appearance of somebody, but I don't care anymore. I got rid of that comic book.
Yeah, he should be more than happy to sign it, not like, I don't know.
Charges an arm and a leg for stuff, And,
yeah. So this is what JoJo's saying, and I do remember this. Like he signed Star Wars, but he was like not into it, right? Like, oh, it paid the bills, right? And it's like, well, it's a super important work, it's super important book. You could smile when you sign it. But yeah, that's just he definitely is opinionated about what good comics are, and he believes that he can tell you what good comics are. And I got that very quickly just hearing him talk to another couple that were getting books signed right after me, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad that I'm not in line anymore.
That's too bad. I guess I guess he's kind of inconsistent because I had a great time meeting him.
Well, that's good though. Yeah,
it's too bad. A ruined experience for her.
Yeah, unfortunately, Southern, I have not gotten Capullo and Snyder yet. Hopefully, I'll get there. Oh, let's block this person. How do I block that person? Well, they're blocked now. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. How do I mod you if I'm on StreamYard? I don't know how to do that, Joe. I don't know if I've got to open up the YouTube stream and I can make you a mod. Let me try that quickly, and then hopefully that was a one-time thing. If not, we'll just take off and do this another time. There you go, Southern. Doesn't even take much to figure that out. There we are. There's my show. So Southern. Oops. Let me turn that down. Add moderator. There you go, Joe. That should work. Hopefully we won't have any more problems. Let's see. We still have 9 people in here. So who else has a favorite creator that they have seen or come across? Gary, so I'm wondering if that's a student of mine or just some idiot troll or somebody who doesn't like something I said on Twitter and is following. News
was fun to me. I met him and his wife, and he's very generous. He doesn't charge a whole lot, and he does a sketch for you for not too much. It's just quick doodle, but still, it's Adam Hughes sketch.
Yeah.
He's super nice, and his wife is great too.
Who is that?
Allison Song and Adam Hughes.
Oh, okay. Adam Hughes is great. I met him, and I got him to sign a bunch of stuff. He was really cool. One that I really like is Stan Sakai. He will always do a little Usagi doodle on your covers, which is really nice. So hopefully, he's really cool. If anybody's got a book, Terry Dodson was cool too. I think I've got both the Dodsons on somebody. If that pops up again, Mark Bagley. So Mark Bagley was interesting, Ben. If I wanted him to sign something with, he said if I put your name on it, it's free, right? So if it says to Ian Mark Bagley, it's free. But if it just says Mark Bagley, he was going to charge, because I guess they're afraid that you're just going to get it slabbed and flipped, which I kind of understood. So I'm like, hey, who dat? How you doing? Who dat? Let me know if you're doing an auction Thursday. I got books. I hope you're feeling better too. I know you were sick last week. So yeah, it was Mark Bagley was kind of interesting. The other one I like a lot is Clayton Crane.
I met Clayton Crane. He's super nice.
He's
got really tiny signature, and
he's got a beautiful, beautiful signature, and he uses like great color for it and stuff. And I get the feeling that he likes signing non-Spider-Man books a lot. Like, I think he looked appreciative that I brought a 4001 AD from Valiant up to him rather than another Spider-Man like Venom thing. So I've never met Tim Seeley, and you say Larry Hama and David Finch. I've met David Finch. I haven't met Larry Hama.
Oh, I'd love to meet David Finch. That's one I had not met. I haven't seen his work in a while, but those Wonder Woman comics he did, those are great.
Those were great. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I think I have run out of topics to talk about and things of interest to say. I don't want the trolls to think they chased me out, because they certainly didn't, but I was yawning and getting ready to run it down anyway. So this is cool. The 4001 AD sketch variant, what I got, Clayton Crane. Oh, that's got to be gorgeous. I want to see that sometime, because he is meticulous with his drawing. Somebody said that he's an introvert, like he's just very quiet in his drawing, but he
is kind of quiet, but
he's always been nice to me.
At the convention, he's very generous, and
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
It was kind of cool.
I was going to wait until Tuesday when I do my show, but I've got other stuff I want to talk about then. So I wanted to get this haul out of the way, just show off people what I got. And until next time, I will talk to you later. Thanks to everybody in the chat, and thanks to Comic Book Estate for hanging out with me, and we'll see you all soon.